Louisville takes on Georgia Tech, 7 p.m. Eastern kickoff this Friday. The Cardinals of Louisville are the 5.5-point favorite on the road, total 65. We're hitting at 77% in our last 13 crowd pleaser teasers on patreon.com/Brock Page. We're also 4-1 with a push in our last 6 extra daily picks on that site as well. And the good news is this: the extra daily pick costs just $2.99. For more information on how you can join in on the action, the link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/Brock Page. Now, Georgia Tech's plus 210 on the money line in this matchup here. They also lost their last 2 straight ball games. They gave up a total of 86 points in those contests. The Georgia Tech defense is allowing nearly 270 yards through the air and over 170 a game on the ground. They're also giving up 5.6 yards per play, and they failed to cover the number in 7 out of their last 8 at Bobby Dodd Stadium. And they're taking on a Louisville squad who successfully covered the number in 2 out of their They covered the number in 2 out of their last 3 ball games on the season. Now, the Cardinals got the job done against Western Kentucky and the Pitt Panthers. They're also averaging 30 points a game on offense, nearly 160 yards on the ground. Running back Javian Hawkins has rushed 59 times for 313 yards and 3 scores. Hawkins is averaging 5.3 yards per carry. This Louisville offense is averaging 5.9 yards per play. Now, total-wise, 2 out of the Cardinals' 3 games on the season got over the posted total. Louisville's also 4-1 to the over in their last 5 conference games. The Ramblin' Wreck, on the other side, went 8-3 to the over in their last 11 conference games themselves. They're also 2-0 to the over in their last couple of games this season as well. Give me the Louisville Cardinals minus 5.5 and the over 65 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick time out and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for college football week 6. But before we dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, I just want to quickly remind you once again that we are hitting at 77% in our last 13 crowd pleaser teasers on patreon.com/Brock Page. We're also 4-1 with a push in our last 6 extra daily picks on that site as well. And the good news is this: the extra daily pick costs just $2.99. If you want some more information on how you can join in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/Brock Page. And moving on, we're going to take a look at the Texas Longhorns taking on the Oklahoma Sooners, 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff on Saturday in the Cotton Bowl. The Sooners are the 2.5-point favorite at home, total 70. And if you like the Longhorns on the road here, they're plus $1.10 for some money line cash. Now, the Texas Longhorns are 2-1 on this season, and that includes a victory over Texas Tech, where they put up 63 points. The Longhorns are averaging 51 points a game and nearly 330 through the air. Of course, got to talk about Sam Ehlinger, who has thrown for 924 yards on this season already, and he's thrown for 14 touchdown passes. He's also rushed it 27 times for $130 and a score. His favorite target thus far has been Joshua Moore, who's got 11 receptions for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. Brennan Eagles also averages 22 yards per reception. He's kind of the home run hitter. He's got 3 touchdown catches on the season as well. And when it comes to this Texas running attack, both Keontae Ingram and Rashawn Johnson are both rushing for over 5 yards per carry. This Texas offense is currently averaging 7 yards per play. They're taking on a suspect OU defense who's giving up 6.3 yards per play themselves. The Sooners are coming off an embarrassing 37-30 loss to Iowa State, which was actually preceded by a loss to Kansas State by the final of 38-35. OU gave up 75 points combined in those 2 affairs. The Sooners also failed to cover the point spread in those matchups as well. The Sooners have failed to cover the point spread in 7 out of their last 8 conference games. Now, total-wise, Oklahoma went 2-0 to the over in their last 2 games. Meanwhile, on the Longhorn side of things, they're a perfect 3-0 to the over on the season themselves, 5-2 to the over in their last 7 road games. So with all that said and done, give me the underdog Longhorns plus 2.5 and the over 70 points in that game. Next matchup, Virginia Tech taking on UNC, 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff. The Tar Heels are minus 5.5 at home, total 60, juice to the over. The Heels are scoring nearly 30 a game, 168 yards on the ground they're averaging as well. Michael Carter's rushed for 199 yards, 8.7 yards per carry. Javonte Williams has also touched it 25 times on the ground for 4 touchdowns. North Carolina is averaging 6.4 yards per play. They're also giving up 54 rushing yards per game on the defensive side of things as well. Chaz Surratt has 17 tackles, 3 sacks. Don Chapman has also 11 tackles from that cornerback position. This tough UNC defense is allowing just 3.7 yards per play, and the Heels have successfully covered the point spread in 4 out of their last 5 when favored. They're taking on a Virginia Tech squad who failed to cover the number against Duke this past Saturday. They gave up 31 to the Blue Devils in that contest. This Hokie defense is giving up nearly 260 yards a game through the air and nearly $140 on the ground. Now, Virginia Tech's giving up 5.3 yards per play. They also have a ton of guys who are questionable to play this Saturday. Now, total-wise, VT went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with North Carolina. Meanwhile, the Heels are officially 2-0 to the under thus far on the season themselves. North Carolina is also 4-1 to the under in their last 5 at home. So with all that in mind, give me the UNC Tar Heels minus 5.5 and the under 60 points in that game. Next matchup, Florida, Texas A&M, 3:33 p.m. Eastern kickoff. The Gators are minus 6.5 on the road, totals 57. The Aggies are plus 190 for an upset win at home. The Aggies are 0-2 against the spread thus far in the season. They're averaging just 20 points per contest, and they allow nearly 300 yards per game through the air. A&M is currently on a 10-game losing streak when catching the points. They are taking on a Gator team who's coming fresh off a 14-point victory over South Carolina. The Gators are 2-0 on the season, and they're averaging 45 points per game. Kyle Trask is completing 72% of his passes, 10 touchdowns, and 684 yards through a couple of games. Tight end Kyle Pitts has a dozen receptions for 227 yards and a staggering 6 touchdowns. Kadarius Toney has also caught the ball 11 times for $145 and a couple of scores himself. This Gator offense is in the top 3 in yards per play. They're also rushing for nearly 140 yards per game. Now, total-wise, the Gators are 2-0 to the over thus far in this season. The Aggies, on the other side, are coming fresh off a game that flew 22 points above the posted number themselves. Give me the Florida Gators minus 6.5 and the over 57 in that contest. All right, next matchup, it is going to be the Tennessee Vols versus the Georgia Bulldogs, and that's going to be a 3:33 p.m. Eastern start time. Kind of a weird start time for both of those games. Georgia's minus 13.5, totals 45. The Vols are plus 450 for an upset victory. Tennessee failed to cover the number in their season opener with South Carolina. The Vols are giving up 108 yards per game on the ground, and they allow 5.3 yards per play. Tennessee's lost 6 out of their last 6 out of their last 7 in Athens. They're also on a 2. Let's try that again. They lost their last 6 straight in Athens, and they're taking on a 2-0 Georgia team who's racking up 162 yards per game on the ground. Now, Zamir White's touched it 32 times for $159 and 3 scores. Kearis Jackson also caught 15 passes for 209 yards. The Bulldogs rank in the top 5 in the NCAA in offensive time of possession. Meanwhile, the defense on the other side has given up 16 points through 2 games. They held the Auburn Tigers to just 6 points this past Saturday. Nakobe Dean leads the team with 11 tackles. Nolan Smith has 9 tackles and 1.5 sacks. And Richard LeCount has 4 tackles and 2 interceptions. Georgia's won 5 out of their last 6 hosting the Volunteers. They've also successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 8 when favored. Now, total-wise, the Bulldogs are 2-0 to the under thus far for the season. Their last 5 straight at Sanford Stadium also stayed on the line as well. Meanwhile, the Volunteers are coming fresh off a game with Mizzou that stayed under the total themselves. The Vols are also 5-1 to the under in their last 6 road games. Give me the Bulldogs, minus 13 and a hook, and the under 45 in that game. With that, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Miami, Clemson, 7:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff at Memorial Stadium. The Tigers are minus 15, total 63. And if you like the Canes in an upset, they're plus 450 for some money line cash. The U is undefeated through 3 games this season. A perfect 3-0 against the spread as well. They hung up 47 on Louisville and 52 on Florida State. Miami averages 43 points a game, 232 yards per game on the ground. Running back Cameron Harris is averaging 8.2 yards per carry and has rushed for 311 yards. He's also scored 5 times on the ground. Quarterback De'Aaron King has also rushed for 157 yards and a score. But it's not just all rushing for King, as he's thrown for 736 yards and 6 touchdowns. His favorite target is tight end Brevin Jordan, who's got 15 catches for 212 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Canes are averaging 6.7 yards per play. They're also holding their opponents to just 19 points a game. Al Blades Jr. leads this secondary with 2 interceptions and 3 PBUs. He's also got 10 tackles on the season. The Canes have successfully covered the number in 5 out of their last 6 conference matchups. They're taking on a Clemson squad who's failed to cover the point spread in all 3 of their games this season. 0-3 against the spread in this 2020 campaign. And when it comes to the total in this one, the Tigers went 4-1 to the over in their last 5 against Miami. Their most recent contest against Virginia also flew over the posted number as well. The Canes on the other side saw their last 2 games get over the line themselves. Give me the Miami Hurricanes plus 15. At least keeping this one close, and the over 63 in that contest. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.